whatever business you want to get into, research the hell out of it. In this day and age of AI, there is no excuse for saying, oh, I didn't know that, or that information wasn't available, because everything's available at a click of a finger. Then have a can-do attitude. Be ready for the ups and downs that come. Ups and downs are bound to happen. If businesses were that foolproof, everybody would be successful, right? It would just be cakewalk for everyone entering any kind of business. Unfortunately, that's not the case. People get motivated when they hear stories, and next day when they actually have to put in the effort, motivation's gone. So motivation comes and goes, but if you're disciplined and consistent, that's when you're going to be successful. For me, self-love is very important. It's very underrated. People are like, especially women, they're like, oh, everybody else first, my husband first, my kids first, my in-laws first, my friends first, and they don't give themselves priority. So when you are happy, full and brimming, that's when you can give back to your family, society, friends, workplace, right? So it is very important to feel fulfilled and then give back to society.
What is your advice for leaders who are striving to make an impact while staying true to their values?
When leaders know what they're bringing to the table, they stick to their core values, it inspires everyone around them. As speakers in Her Courage as well, when they share of their struggles, we relate to each other's stories. And that really helps and motivates everyone around.
Welcome to the Summit series of Voices of Courage Asia, where we celebrate leaders, changemakers, and visionaries who embody courage and drive transformative impact. I'm your host, Priscilla Tang, and in this special series, we explore stories of resilience, leadership, and the bold steps taken to create meaningful change. So I have here with me now Shalima Motial, founder and CEO of Dreamcatchers Vision. So Shalima is an inspiring entrepreneur who turns dreams into reality. As the founder and CEO of Dreamcatchers Vision, she has built a dynamic media and talent development platform that empowers individuals to showcase their talents. So I'm so excited and honored to be able to speak with Shalima today. Yeah. So thanks for making time to join us, Shalima.
Thank you for having me at your platform. I'm delighted. Thank you.
Right. And to add on, Shalima, she is a Her Courage Award 2024 recipient and as well a business network member. She's passionate about supporting creative and entrepreneurial journeys. So truly, I can't wait to dive deeper into our Q&A questions that's coming up to extract some of your golden nuggets of wisdom. I love to hear more from you, Shalima.
Yeah, I'm totally ready to share. Ask away.
Right. So Shalima, I'm curious to hear, in terms of the personal journey and leadership aspect, what does inspiring courage for transformating leadership mean to you personally?
The words inspiring courage imply giving you and your community the confidence that I can do it, you can do it, and we can do it. While the words transformative impact to me imply taking someone to a higher altered state. And this can only be done with a strong why. So to make a significant change, one needs to know both. Why do I want to do it? And I can do it. And that's exactly what Dreamcatchers is all about. Catching dreams of people, helping them find their whys. And once they know why do they want to do it, it becomes easier. And, especially when there are so many entrepreneurs and solo speakers, solo entrepreneurs, solopreneurs as they're called, to then have that community to help you know, I can do it, you can do it, we all together can do it.
Shalima, I love what you say. It's really about knowing your why. And as well as having that community to support one another in moving forward, in doing it afraid and moving, journeying with one another, right, to lift one another up. So I really love what you said about the transformative part about leadership. That brings me to the next question. Are you able to share a pivotal moment when courage has transformed how you lead or approach challenges?
Sure. So actually, few of them come to my mind. I will share one of the examples. So I started producing short films during COVID. And then I actually garnered the courage to make a full-length feature film. And I had no experience of being in one or being a part of a full length feature film, let alone producing one. And that needed a lot of courage. And I was like, okay, if I can dream that big, I can probably achieve it. And once I set my mind to it, I think the universe helped. Everything galvanized around it. People came together. Project, small project became a much bigger project, which initially seemed like, oh, it's undoable. But somehow, with courage, with community, that dream I fulfilled. And so there were 100 plus people that got involved in Dominoes, the full length feature film that I produced. I roped in a big TV channel called ZTV. So it was later telecast on ZTV to millions of viewers in Asia Pacific and also screened in cinemas in Singapore. So that's how, when you take that plunge and courage and when you like jump off the plane, that's when you learn to build the parachute along the way. As I was mentioning earlier as well to someone in an interview, you cannot wait for all circumstances to be perfect, right? And then take the plunge. The courage is when you have good enough platform and then you take that plunge and then things fall in place. And I think entrepreneurs have that courage in them when they plunge into any activity like that or their passion and things work out.
Right, right, Shalima. And what I hear is that, if you can dream it, you can have it. So it's really about having a very clear vision, being unstoppable for you. It seems like it means that being very laser focused on what you want. And like you said, the universe and everything else comes together when you are laser focused and just taking the plunge and stepping out. So I think I love what you said when you mentioned about, it's about just taking that plunge, just jumping off, and things will just work out. So courage is not that you are not afraid, but it's moving ahead even when you are afraid. So that's what courage
Absolutely.
is.
So, you dream so big that it scares you. When your dreams keep you up at night, that's when you need to muster all that courage to make it happen.
Exactly. So what I always hear is also that if your dream doesn't scare you, then your dream is not big enough, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So absolutely, I love what you said, Shalima, and so glad to see how everything works out, even as you took that courage to keep moving ahead and keep plunging forward. Right. Right. So what inspired you to pursue a leadership role, and how has your journey influenced others as well?
So, I've always wanted to do something that helps others as well in the process. So I started out with a company called Stepping Stones back in India, which was a placement advisory company. And it gave me a lot of satisfaction when I would get suitable jobs for the candidates. And I remember this particular incident when somebody's mother called me from another state, and she was like so grateful that I got her son a job. And she wondered if I was doing charity. And I was like, no, this is not charity. I get the company to pay me. But it just seemed so fulfilling, right? To be able to help someone in their journey as well. And that I carried on with Dream Catchers. So I founded this company in 2011, and we here as well aim to be a stepping stone in the journey of entrepreneurs, performing artists, and gradually we grew our mission to be about women empowerment as well. So, for example, having a platform like Runway Mom, which is a platform for women to walk the fashion ramp, irrespective of their age, height, size, nationality, gave wings to these women who were shy, who were sitting at the brink, whether to jump or not, whether to make their dreams come true or not. That initial when you're scared and you don't have that community. So the USP of Runway Mom was it was non-competitive. When a platform is non-competitive, I think it has a lot of positive energy around it. People come together, they're encouraging of each other, and that's when stories come out of resilience, of determination, and people get inspired through that, right? So that was one platform. Then through the Dreamcatchers show, we are bringing out stories of struggle, of resilience, of determination, and that is helping people as well. So for me, to just be able to provide that platform shows leadership as well. right? That I am running this company, but it does have a purpose. So when I'm able to marry both serving the community, helping people in the process, and running a business, it just gives me immense pleasure.
Amazing. I mean, I can imagine how fulfilling this journey has been with you. That when you started out, like you mentioned, it was all about helping others, and that's
Right,
where the fulfillment is.
right.
And how that grew into your business, which continues to elevate, support, and encourage others. Wow, Shalima, is amazing what your love and your passion has grown into something that's able to benefit and support others in such amazing ways.
Thank
So really
you.
credit to you.
Thank you so much.
Right. So Shalima, what role does courage play in driving social impact and creating meaningful change in communities?
So I think courage plays a very important aspect, right?
Mhm.
Because you can dream big, you can keep dreaming for 10 years on end without doing anything about it.
Mhm.
But it takes courage to then realize your dreams and take that plunge. So, when I started out initially, I had an idea. Okay, I want to provide a platform for performing artists.
Mm.
And that didn't do as well in the beginning. So it took a lot of resilience and courage to then navigate those challenges and carry on in that path and change the vision a little bit as well. Because you cannot be married to your initial idea, it has to go along with what the market requires, right? So I think as an entrepreneur, one has to be courageous in every decision because failure is going to happen. Nobody gets 100% success. And even if you plan a lot, there are surprises on the way.
Mm.
So it is important to carry on with determination and have that courage that, okay, ups and downs are a part of life. And so ups and downs are a part of business as well. And with that faith, one carries on reinventing themselves, reinventing the business, trying newer, different methods, and things do work out.
Yes, that's right. I think even as you were sharing, right, what comes to mind is that courage. You know, when you mentioned about that it's also about this reinventing yourself and continuing with forward with that flexibility, with that adaptability to
Right.
see whenever surprises come up, learning to be able to navigate these changes. I think that's also an important part of staying courageous, right? Yeah. And early on when you mentioned about failures, I think it's a great reminder to me that how we see failures, it's important when we move forward. So when we see failures not as failures per se, but as lessons, as learnings. So we either win or we learn. And in best case
Absolutely.
scenarios is we do both. We win and then we learn. And that's how failures are lessons and stepping stones for us, for you, even
Yes.
as you work your way towards success. So I really love what you just shared, Shalima. Yeah. So Shalima, what is your advice for leaders who are striving to make an impact while staying true to their values?
So I think when leaders know what they're bringing to the table,
Mhm.
they stick to their core values, it inspires everyone around them, right? So, as speakers in Her Courage as well, when they share of their struggles, we relate to each other's stories. And that really helps and motivates everyone around. So, there has to be positive environment. There has to be that community that supports them. And when they hear stories of resilience from other leaders who've also gone through mentors and peers who've also gone through a similar journey and have come out successfully, I think that's what gives them courage as well to then follow their path and go with that broad smile and determination that even if I'm coming live on, there are stories I hear of people who are like, I come live every day on TikTok or on Insta at 8 p.m., even if there's just one listener, or even if there are just three listeners. But I am determined and I do that every single day. I think that kind of consistency brings a lot of faith in your own project, right? When you have that conviction that what I'm doing is great, is something that's going to help me and the society, it has to show results.
Mm, yeah. So what I'm hearing is the consistency to keep showing
Consistency,
up
discipline,
regardless. Yeah.
very important. Because see, people get motivated when they hear stories, and
Yes.
next day when they actually have to put in the effort, motivation's gone. Then what happens? Then the discipline comes in play. So motivation comes and goes, but if you're disciplined and consistent, that's when you're going to be successful.
Exactly, exactly. I think that's such a timely reminder, right? Not for us as well as for our audience, that it's really about consistency and to keep showing up regardless. And I think the when you mention community, this community keeps coming up as well in what you have just shared, whether it's in shaping your success, in providing that encouragement, that support system. I think encouragement through community is something that's very strong within your own values. I see that, Shalima.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right. And just like to hear, how do you think communities like class living contribute to fostering courageous leaders?
So, as I mentioned earlier, I personally feel that stories have a huge impact. So, when women come together,
Mhm.
there's no bigger force than that, right?
Yes.
And especially when they're coming together with a positive energy, which happens in her courage meetings, and share their stories of determination, of resilience, of how they overcame what they overcame. And it doesn't matter what size of business they are into, right? So it could be a very small home industry to a medium sized business to a big business. It doesn't matter. When they see that support from women, it just inspires everyone to hear how someone who was very scared of public speaking is now coming in front of a room full of people and speaking courageously. That itself is inspiring. So I think communities like Her Courage help women a lot, and in the process raise the entire environment together, because women go back home happier and raise happier families, right? So it has a corresponding impact on the entire family and community in the process.
Oh, that's beautifully said, Shalima. I love that has a ripple effect.
Yes,
That
it
this
does. Sure.
positivity, that this encouragement that we feel or we receive in our community setting, we are able to bring that back and positively also bring back that joy and that impact to our families and to whoever we come into contact with after that. So that's really a great nugget of wisdom there. Yeah, it's communities. It's not just for our own, not just for ourselves, but even for our own network and our own families that we can bring that joy and that
Absolutely. So for me, self love is very important. It's very underrated. People are like, especially women, they're like, oh, everybody else first, my husband first, my kids first, my in laws first, my friends first, and they don't give themselves priority. And I
Mm.
want to say that you cannot pour from an empty cup. So when you are happy, full, and brimming, that's when you can give back to your family, society, friends, workplace, right? So it is very important to feel fulfilled. Now, fulfillment can mean very different things to different individuals. For an entrepreneur, a successful business may mean fulfillment. For a homemaker, just running her house successfully, taking care of herself mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, emotionally, that may mean fulfillment. So that varies from person to person. But it is super important to feel fulfilled and then give back to society.
Yes. So the fulfillment we start with ourselves,
Absolutely.
taking that steps to know and to be crystal clear on what gives us that purpose and that find that fulfillment, and then we will then be able to bring that impact into our society and into the community that we serve. Yes, I love that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So moving on, I just like to hear from you as well. If there's one piece of advice about courage and leadership that you could give to the next generation of women leaders, what would that be?
So, one advice I would give is that whatever business you want to get into,
Mhm.
research the hell out of it, right? In this day and age of AI, there is no excuse for saying, oh, I didn't know that, or that information wasn't available, because everything's available at a click of a finger. So once you have researched what is it that you want to get into, you know very strongly why do you want to get into it, then have a can do attitude. Once you have that can do attitude, the courage is there with you, right? That you are pursuing your passion now, you're going ahead with that can do attitude. Then, secondly, be ready for the ups and downs that come. And ups and downs are bound to happen. If businesses were that foolproof, everybody would be successful, right? It would just be cakewalk for everyone entering any kind of business. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Businesses are not foolproof. One learns different techniques and ways and even navigates around certain things that one started out with into a different direction. And that is important. So that needs courage and leadership one builds along the way because that is something that one learns in the process when you're interacting with like minded people. Not necessarily always like minded people. You may interact with people whose nature is very different than yours and you learn in the process. So I personally believe that once you're out there in front of people in a business, public speaking or whatever it is, you are constantly learning. And it is best to focus on what you want to learn. So it's best for your own self to focus on the positives in everyone so that you become richer in the process. Right. So instead of saying, oh, I don't like the way she dresses or I don't like the way she's talking or whatever, if you can find even one or two positive and nice things in every individual that you meet, you will be so much more richer because whatever you focus on grows. So if I'm focusing on something nice and positive, that grows in my own life. And I am so much richer with that experience. So that's what will help each and every person who's sitting on the fence. First, take a dive, know your why, and then have that can-do attitude, and then just go forth. Just jump off the plane. Keep building your parachute as you're falling. And because you're a courageous survivor, you will build a parachute and a beautiful, colorful one at that.
Wow, such a beautiful, summary of all that you have shared, as we started the conversation. And I keep hearing this, just have a can-do attitude, which is really, as you have also shared in your prior answers, it's about that resilience, that grit, that determination to keep hanging on, to keep showing up. Right, and really just to be very clear about your why, be crystal clear, and then the path ahead will just, even as you take the next step, it will become clear, and to be flexible, to be adaptable, even as surprises or stumbling blocks come up. And what I love the most about what you just mentioned is to treat every experience, every exchange as a point of learning. That we are so much richer even as we focus on the learning. So today, I think I'm already so much richer today just by having this conversation with you, Shalima.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your nuggets of wisdom. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Right. So Shalima, what motivated you then to participate in this year's Her Courage Leaders Summit? And what does this mean to you?
So last year, I was the recipient of the award of Her Courage. Mm-hmm. And this year, I've been invited as the judge. So I'm feeling very humbled and honored both. So I actually want to contribute back to Her Courage platform by giving this service to them, encouraging all women entrepreneurs out there to use this platform because it is so beautifully created with love, with heart, with passion, and with that community around, which is so important. And you don't see people doing that so often, right? Everybody is so busy in their own lives and their own struggles. Then for some women to come out there and create this platform, to create this community is commendable. So I'm delighted to be a part of it this year. And I hope to see some great participation out there.
Yes, we are more than delighted to have your participation again this year. And thank you so much for your valuable support. Last year as a participant, this year coming on board as a judge and as a mentor with that heart to serve, to contribute, to value add. It's a joy, to have someone like you, to come on board with us and to be so aligned with our vision and our mission to impact more women leaders out there. So thank you again, Shalima, for your time and for having that heart, to journey along with us, with our team at Class Living. Right.
Thank you for inviting me.
Right. Shalima, how do you balance the emotional and strategic sides of leadership when faced with transformative challenges?
That's a very interesting question. So I think one gets their personality, that's the emotional aspect of it, into their workplace, right? So whatever your core values and your mindset is, your belief system, you get that into your workplace. So for me, working from a place of love instead of fear is super important. So any project that I do or any friendships or the way I am in my life, I always work from a place of love rather than fear. And I bring the same aspect into my work life as well. So I absolutely follow and believe in Maya Angelou's quote: people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And so through my projects, it's very important for me that anyone associated with Dreamcatchers feels their best version is coming out through our platform, through the niche events that we do. And people have come back to me and said that, oh, I felt so seen and so heard through your platform. And that's a job well done for me. So that is very important. Integrity and honesty is very important. When your mindset and your core values align with what you're doing at your workplace, I think that change happens. And that's the transformation you're looking at. So, for example, I'll give you in Runway Mom, we usually have anywhere between 60 to 65 women participate, and they're of all different age groups, from all different walks of life, from say 25-year-old to even a 75-year-old we've had walk the runway, right? And so they all come with their own expectations from the platform, their own mindsets. And some of them will come and say, wow, what a great platform you've created, and you're God's gift to man, kind of a praise. And some of them will come and say, what's the big deal? It's okay. I paid for it. I got what I paid for. So no big deal. So equanimity is very important as an entrepreneur, I feel. Don't get too happy and excited when people are praising you, and don't get down in the dumps when somebody says bad things. So when you know your value, when you know what you're bringing to the platform, then you're in an equanimous state. I am doing to the best of my capability. Now, however the other person is receiving is from their own perspective. Good is okay, bad is okay. I'm in acceptance. So when we are not looking at acceptance and approval from the other person, we are in that equanimous state, and then we excel. And that's where the leadership skill and the warmth and the integrity, the transparency and all of those values come in. And to have that say-do attitude. If I have promised and committed to something, I will deliver. And that's when the business flourishes. And 14 years into Dreamcatchers, I'm sitting and sharing my story here with you. That's a big testament of its success as well.
It is. It is such a true testimony indeed, and I absolutely agree. With what you said about being aligned to the values, right? Going back to what your values stand for. You talk about love. You talk about integrity, right? So love and integrity is really, when we have the right values and we are aligned on that, that really leads our way forward. And I absolutely just love what you mentioned earlier about how people feel, making people feel in a certain way. And I'm just reminded of this quote that people don't care how much we know until they know how much we care. So truly, yeah, your actions speak louder than your words. So with this 14 years of journey, look at the amazing success of Dreamcatchers, and that truly shows the courageous and transformative leadership that you have taken up, and embodied. So thank you, Shalima, again for that beautiful reminder. Right. So even as we are coming to a close of today's podcast session, I'm truly a lot wealthier and richer already through this conversation with you, and I'm really going back to reflect upon some of these thoughts that you have shared, Shalima. So again, thank you for your time. It's been such a joy speaking with you and hearing your thoughts around transformative leadership. So is there anything else that you would like to highlight to our audience there? Just before you just
Sure. So, from the capacity of a judge on the platform, I would like to wish all the participants great luck by just registering and signing up to be a participant. That itself is a big step forward, right? So once you take that step, you're a winner already, because you've shown courage to then nominate yourself or your friends for the platform. And once you show courage, even in public speaking, when there are speakers and they ask a question to an audience, the first one who raises his or her hand shows that courage. From that 100 to 200 to 500 audience, they are the ones who showed courage and raised their hand up and said, okay, let me give it a shot. Let me try and answer this question. And those are the ones that become successful in life. So nominate yourself, nominate your friends to participate in this award ceremony, and you will go richer, a lot richer in experience from the shared community, from the stories that you hear from people. And there's no holding you back. Once you show that courage, there has to be transformation in your life for the better.
Wow, and you heard it yourself from Shalima, our special guest for today. Do stay connected with us by subscribing, sharing, and leaving a review. And if you'd like to connect with Shalima, do check out the links in the episode description. Feel free to reach out to her, get to know her. She has so much wisdom to share. But of course, the best way is to meet her at the summit. So check out our website at www.hercourageleaders.com. You will see the link on the podcast below. So do check it out. We have our early bird prizes right out there now. And also do nominate any of your female friends who could be unsung heroes. So, they might be doing an incredible work. So just go ahead, nominate them and shine the spotlight on what they have been doing to encourage more of the amazing women in our midst to step up. All right, so this has been another powerful episode of the Summit series on Voices of Courage Asia, where we inspire courage for transformative impact. Until next time, keep leading with courage and making a difference in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for having me over.
Thank you, Shalima.